Have you ever looked out the window, seen the world moving on and wondered, does anyone still see me? Still hear me? Still care? What if I told you, even in silence, someone is listening, not just hearing, but deeply understanding every beat of your heart? This isn't just another video. This is a conversation, a spiritual awakening meant just for you. Part 1, the quiet crisis of loneliness. Loneliness in old age is not simply about being alone. It's about feeling forgotten. In the United States, over 40% of adults over the age of 65 report feeling lonely on a regular basis. That's not just a statistic, it's a silent epidemic. But here's the truth. Your worth isn't defined by the number of calls you receive, visits you get, or messages you read. Your soul carries a wisdom and a light that doesn't dim with age. In fact, it grows brighter. You've lived decades, witnessed generations, and experienced both love and loss. But amidst all that, there's one thing that has never left you, your spiritual presence. God, the universe, or whatever name resonates with you, the divine force never stops listening. And sometimes in the silence, it listens even louder. In the upcoming sections, we'll explore how you're never truly alone and why your soul still holds deep meaning and purpose in this stage of life. We'll reconnect you with that purpose spiritually, emotionally, and soulfully. Part 2, the spiritual language of loneliness. Loneliness has a language not made of words, but of sighs, stillness, and the ache of unspoken emotion. But in that very language, there is a spiritual depth waiting to be understood. When you sit quietly in your living room, listening to the ticking of the clock or the soft hum of a refrigerator, what you might actually be hearing is the echo of your soul calling out, and something sacred responding back. Spiritual connection doesn't always arrive with a trumpet blast. Often it whispers. Have you noticed how sometimes, just as you begin to feel overwhelmed, a memory from decades ago reappears? Maybe it's the sound of your mother's voice, the smell of your childhood home, or the laughter of your best friend from long ago. These aren't just memories. They are spiritual messages, reminders that you've always been part of something much bigger, something eternal. Loneliness becomes a bridge when we recognize it as a message, not a punishment. It is the soul's invitation to go deeper, not into isolation, but into presence. Many spiritual traditions, from Christianity to Buddhism to indigenous teachings, speak of silence as sacred. Because in silence, the spirit speaks. In stillness, the divine listens. And in loneliness, the sacred presence surrounds us, not to abandon, but to awaken. Part 3, how to spiritually reconnect. Even if you felt disconnected for years, you may have been away from your faith, your spiritual practices, or even your inner peace for a long time. That's okay. The soul is patient, and spirit never closes the door. Reconnection doesn't require rituals or grand gestures. Sometimes all it takes is a moment of intention. Start by speaking aloud, even if you're alone. Say something simple like, I'm here, I'm ready. Help me feel you again. These are not just words, they are keys. The moment you open your heart even a little, the energy begins to shift. You might find peace in small things, the warmth of morning sunlight, the chirping of birds, the rustling of wind through leaves. These are all divine responses. The world begins to whisper back, we've missed you. Consider lighting a candle not for tradition's sake, but as a symbolic act. Light in darkness is a universal spiritual message. Hope still burns. You can also write letters to the divine, even if you're not sure who you're writing to. Pour your heart onto paper. Gratitude, confusion, longing, love all of it. The act of expressing is a spiritual prayer. Meditation and breathwork are powerful tools. But for some, even sitting still feels painful. So walk, talk, hum, paint. Do whatever brings you closer to presence, because presence is prayer. No matter how disconnected you feel, remember, the divine never disconnects. It waits gently, like a lighthouse in your night, and it never stops shining. Part 4. The power of sharing your wisdom. Before it's too late, you've lived a life full of stories, struggles, victories, and quiet moments of grace. Do you know how rare and valuable that is? Most younger generations are searching for guidance, clarity, and real-life wisdom. You hold the keys they're looking for. But here's the beautiful truth. It's not too late to share it. Your spiritual journey, the lessons learned through loneliness, love, loss, and growth, all of it matters deeply. When you begin to share your reflections, even with one person, a grandchild, a neighbor, someone in your community, you do more than speak. You heal. Sharing your wisdom isn't just about storytelling, it's about spiritual legacy. And it's never too late to begin. Write your thoughts down. Record voice notes. Even if you think no one will listen, now the day will come when someone will hold your words like treasure. And while sharing helps others, it transforms you too. You'll feel lighter, more connected, more alive. You'll realize your loneliness has carved wisdom into you that only age can offer, and that wisdom is your gift to the world. Part 5. Embracing your divine purpose in the final chapter of life. This season of life, your later years, is not a conclusion, but a culmination. A sacred chapter where everything you've learned, felt, and survived becomes a divine message to be lived and shared. You are not here by accident. Your breath, your presence, your quiet wisdom, all of it is still needed. Even if the world around you seems busy or distracted, know this: your soul's purpose hasn't expired. It's unfolding. In fact, many spiritual teachers say that the final chapters of life are when our deepest spiritual work begins. This is when we surrender fully, when we see clearly, when we prepare to return home not with regret, but with radiance. So ask yourself today, what would it look like to live these years on purpose? To wake each morning and say, I'm still here and there's still something sacred left for me to do. Maybe it's writing your truth. Maybe it's forgiving someone or yourself. Maybe it's simply being kind to the next person you see. Small acts, big impact. Your legacy is not just in what you leave behind, but in the spiritual energy you put out today. You are a soul on a journey, and this final stretch can be the most beautiful part. If this message has stirred something in your heart, if it reminded you of your own worth, your deep purpose, and your eternal connection, then don't walk away quietly. Join a growing family of wise souls who are finding peace, purpose, and divine meaning in every stage of life. Subscribe to Quiet Mind, Powerful Soul. Because this is not just a channel, it's a sanctuary, a place where your story matters, where your soul is heard, where your heart can finally rest in understanding. Don't miss the next message your spirit is meant to receive. Click subscribe, and let's walk this beautiful path together.